Welcome back. A group of black citizens in Oregon say a local hospital and the city of Portland worked together decades ago to wrongfully take their family's property.
That's right. Now they're seeking compensation through a federal civil lawsuit. This case in Portland accuses the city and the hospital of violating the law even then. The suit claims they conspired, bullied, and coerced black people into selling their homes without fair compensation. From 1949 to 1973, there were thousands of these kinds of federal urban renewal program projects. Many city governments argued these neighborhoods were blighted. In the end, experts say roughly 1 million people were pushed out of their homes, 2/3 people of color.
A pediatric nutritionist is sharing the details of a particularly extreme case of starvation of an infant she saw while working at a children's hospital in Miami. She's doing this to illustrate the dangers of medical misinformation. Now, after running tests, the providers learned the child's mother was feeding him an almond milk diet, which led to starvation. She believes the infant's mom was, quote, doing the best she could and wasn't aware that almond milk did not contain the nutrients the baby needed. She believes the mother relied on information she most likely read online. So listen here, soulmates. Nut milk, cow's milk, and other non-dairy substitutes do not contain the proper nutrients for children under 1. Breast milk and formula are the best options for babies that age.
According to the local NAACP and restaurant patrons, diners at a Greek restaurant in Bowling Green, Kentucky, were recently subjected to police body camera footage from the night Breonna Taylor was shot and killed in her Louisville apartment in 2020. The Republican Women's Club of South Central Kentucky hosted John Mattingly after the Bowling Green Country Club said it would no longer host the group. Mattingly was one of the 3 police officers who raided Taylor's home and fired shots. According to the Bowling Green, Warren County NAACP and unaffiliated restaurant patrons accounts online, the lights went dark as they heard and saw graphic descriptions of the incident that killed Taylor. The audio from that night could be heard throughout the restaurant through its speaker system.
My goodness. All right. T-Mobile is investigating a data breach that may have exposed 37 million postpaid and prepaid accounts and hinted at incurring significant costs related to the incident. It's the second major cyber attack in less than 2 years and comes months after the carrier agreed to upgrade its data security to settle a litigation related to a 2021 incident that compromised information of an estimated 76.6 million people. T-Mobile said basic customer data such as name, billing address, email, and phone number was breached and that it had begun notifying impacted customers.
Run, don't walk to check your kitchen cupboard, soulmates. According to census data and a Simmons National Consumer Survey, over 300 million Americans used seasonings and spices in 2020, and McCormick, the largest spice manufacturer in the world, has a warning for all of them. McCormick recommends making sure your spices have a strong aroma and taste, as well as a vibrant color. It's also good practice to replace them every 3 years. 3 years, folks, not 30 years, 3 years. Except for black pepper, of course. McCormick spices in rectangular tins and labels that say Baltimore, Maryland are at least 25 years old. If you're the owner of some old spices, don't worry, they aren't gonna make you sick, but it's probably in your best interest to not use them anymore, since they aren't going to be effective.
Yeah, they probably won't give you what you need.
Don't be using those spices and participating in the potluck. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, we have like a built-in Lazy Susan, my parents' home that, again, we've kept after their passing. And one day I just like, you know what, let me just clean this thing out. Lord, today. So I Googled some of the labels, because I know over the years, the labels of the seasonings that we use have changed. And some of them seasons were from the 80s. Now, it's not that we have used them. They were just
the 80s.
Well, the Lazy Susan sits deep inside of it's a built-in, and it just rolls, and so they were just sitting deep inside the thing.
The 80s?
Yeah, I would say late 80s, because I remember some of them from high school, because I took over cooking. I would cook for my family in high school, and I remember I remember this. Yeah.
So we know what you're going to be doing this weekend.
Well, I've already cleaned out. They're gone, and we replenished. But sometimes things just sit in your home.
Yeah.
And spices just fell up under that list.
Well, thank you for being a model soulmate. Hopefully, all of our soulmates that are listening will run and not walk to your cupboard.
Black folks don't throw away spices and seasonings.
Well, McCormick said,
in my house we didn't.
You better. You may want to throw some of them away. 25 years old?
It was bad.
Get rid of them spices,
I
y'all.
know, it was bad.
Coming up, the name of one road is being changed due to negative connotations.
Yep. We'll tell you the name and where the street is located right after the break. You're watching FOXSOUL's Black Report. Except for Black